Hello and welcome to the Set for Growth YouTube channel, where we talk about the tips, tricks, and how-tos in reading and broadening your knowledge base. My name's Brandon.
My name is Alex.
And today we're going to be covering how to make better decisions. Take it away.
We're covering 5 tips to help you make better decision. So why take better decision? I think the first reason is that you're more happy, right? Taking better decision just make your life better, right? Also increase your confidence because, right? I mean, you're more confident about the things you do on a day-to-day basis because you take better decision, and also help you be a better leader.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So the first tips we have today for you is read more books, right? I think that's all what our channel is all about. Read books. And reading books is just going to increase your knowledge. And so when you take a decision, you actually have more information on which to base yourself to make a better decision. I'm sure.
And lucky for our viewers out there, we've already done a video on how to read more books, which is really at the heart of what Set for Growth is all about. Anyways, self-education, self-development, and then getting a broader understanding of just the world around us and how to be able to maximize your happiness in life. That's what we're all about here, right?
So we have a link below this video on this video, so you can read how to read more books.
Yeah. So, and this is great. So this really drives us into the point number 2 here. And we derive this information from, video talks, seminars, this kind of stuff. A lot of the books, right, that Alex and I read are on just a wide array of different things like personal development, finance, business, philosophy, psychology, arts, literature, everything, man. We read a wide array of everything. And what this comes down to, when it comes down to decision making, one of the things that constantly gets repeated is this sort of idea between the elephant and the rider. The elephant being the big mammoth in the room, and this is point number 2, by the way, the elephant and the rider. The elephant being the big mammoth in the room, that is your emotional force. And a lot of the time, when we come down to making decisions, they are an emotionally driven decision, which sometimes maybe is not the best for you in the long run. So what happens is that over time, evolution, we've had this sort of idea of the rider coming into play. So you have somebody to be able to control the elephant. Can't overpower the elephant, obviously, but it's about this understanding the dynamic between the rider and the elephant, where the elephant wants to go in a particular direction. If you can get the rider to somehow be able to logically direct the elephant so that you're emotionally driven towards something that's going to benefit you in the long run, then overall you're going to be a happier, a better person, you're going to be a better leader, and you're going to be more confident in the decisions that you have. So we have a couple books here. Switch by Chip and Dan Heath, great book. It talks about the rider and the elephant and how to be able to create an emotionally charged environment to be able to essentially sell, but also to be able to get people to buy into your ideas because you're appealing to the elephant from the perspective of a logical sort of point of view. Happiness hypothesis. This is another one that talks about the elephant and the rider. It goes back as far as, Buddha and Plato. They talk about, these types of things. And it's a very common, topic. And I would say that we've all been in a situation where it's been emotionally charged. We've made a decision and it wasn't the best decision for us because at the time it seemed like it was the right thing to do. And after the decision was made, it turns out that it actually wasn't the best thing to do. What do you think?
Oh, I totally agree.
Yeah.
I think the biggest heated debate in society today are the ones that are so charged emotionally.
Yeah.
Because people just get passionate about it and they're ready to go in the street and meditate and do all those crazy things because they're emotionally involved in the decision, right?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
I totally agree. So the great books, by the way. Those are amazing.
Learn how to control the elephant. That's the biggest thing, right?
Yeah. All right. So third point here we have now versus later. Basically, what you want to do to make a better decision is to defer pleasure as much as possible, right? It's just like compound interest. If you spend your money today and without thinking about tomorrow, then tomorrow you don't have money, right? When you get a hold, you don't have money. But if you invest your money every single day, every single year, over time, it compounds. And so the benefit over time is multiplied, right? It's exponential. And so, different pleasure is so important in taking great decision. Personally, Brandon, I can remember a lot of time where I didn't defer pleasure.
Yeah.
And then later on, I was and I was let down by the result, because that wasn't the optimal outcome.
Fair enough. And at the same time though, I don't want to go so far as to say that you should always defer pleasures, because what's the point of living if you're always just waiting for this thing that never happens, right? Maybe potentially. I would say that you got to balance it. You got to figure out what's going to work best for you, and then defer pleasures as much as possible, because you have to plan for tomorrow. And even though you're supposed to live in today and you're supposed to live in the moment, you need to make a decision that's going to base, sort of the longer term, because you want to be able to experience the best life possible. And I would say, safe bet, you're probably going to be around tomorrow. I would say that your life's probably not going to be cut short. Hopefully, right? Of course, bad shit happens, unfortunately.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, part of my language there too. So defer till later, but at the same time, enjoy the moment and enjoy the present without a doubt. Do you have anything else to add to that one?
Yeah, that's basically it.
Okay, so this brings us into point number 4, which is the concept of opportunity cost. And this concept was actually brought to my attention the first time I really heard about it. It wasn't until I was in university, and it was in an economics class, and was talking about opportunity cost. And probably the best way to really explain this is to reference university directly. A lot of the time, especially when you're young, is spent trying to figure out whether you want to go to university, what you want to take, and this kind of stuff. And a lot of the time, you think about what major you want to take and what's the benefit of going this route or this route, but you also need to consider that, how much is 4 years of going to university worth in terms of lost income that you're going to be giving up in order to pursue a university degree? Is it worth, I don't know how much money you may make over a 4-year period of time, but let's say it's, $80,000, something like that, because you're going to be a young person. That's probably all you're going to be earning over the 4 years. Maybe it's $100,000 over the 4 years. But at the same time, you need to consider the income that you're foregoing over the 4-year period in order to educate yourself, especially in today's, age where you can read books, you can watch YouTube videos, you can get a lot of the education stuff that you'll get from university now just by paying attention to all this stuff. So that goes into decision making. We also have the idea of television, and what is the actual cost of television, or a computer, or Facebook, and surfing the internet, any of those things, right? There's price tags attached to all of them, but price does not equal cost, because you always have to consider what you're also giving up in order to sort of experience that other thing for right now, whatever pleasure that might be, enjoyment and that kind of stuff. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest point. I think is really opportunity cost, because every single day you got like hundreds or thousands of different decisions, and it's really like waiting if that's the best use of your time, because once it's gone, the time is the most valuable asset you have, because once you spend it, it's never going to come back.
Yeah,
right?
And that's something to consider too, is time is the most valuable commodity that you have, more than money, more than anything else. So you really need to spend your time wisely. It's limited. So that needs to be factored into your decision making too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And our 5 tips today is to help you take better decision, is to get advices from other people, right? I mean, a lot of time we think we're like by ourselves, and all our decision is just based on ourselves. But if we go outside of our, outside, ask a friend, ask someone that is not a friend. Sometimes it's great to have the feedback of people that actually are not emotionally attached to the situation, and so they can take a kind of a better look on what's happening,
like an objective opinion, right?
That's right.
Sometimes you see things outside of yourself, and that person's able to add a different point of view that you just didn't even consider before, because you're so maybe tunnel vision focused on whatever the result is that you want to get.
Yeah, so definitely going to see other people. Also, a lot of time those people, they did the mistake before you.
Yeah.
Right? They've been there before, and so if they can just tell you, hey, this is exactly what this situation you're in actually exactly happened to me before, and so they can help you, and you can learn vicariously, and you don't have to do all the mistake yourself.
Yeah. Now, having said that, I'm also a stubborn person. Chances are, if I want to do something and you tell me not to do it, I'm probably going to do it anyway. But as I get older, I'm starting to become less and less that way. So it's nice to get the opinion of others. And if somebody has a negative experience from something, having that information is really good, because you can factor that into your decision making. So that's a really good point.
Yes.
All right. That brings us to our bonus topic. Again, we have one for you guys. And this is really going to tie the whole thing together here with regards to decision making. And it's simply the fact that you shouldn't procrastinate, and try to spend as little time as possible procrastinating. There's so many different ways that people have put this before, right? Paralysis by analysis, taking too long to make a decision. But ultimately what happens if you procrastinate too long when trying to make a decision, you might actually lose the opportunity to be able to grab whatever opportunity exists right there because you're trying to analyze every angle of it. You're trying to delineate whether, it's going to be a good outcome, bad outcome, whatever it is, and there's probabilities that you can calculate. There's any number of things that you could look at when making decisions. But the fact is, if you take too long to make a decision, chances are you'll miss the opportunity. And that's going to end up, leaving you in a worse off situation than you were if you had just made a decision. Even if it's the wrong decision, at least you go in, you get the experience, and you get out of it, and you go in another direction. There's different types of people out there. I'm the type of person who makes decisions very, very quickly. They haven't always worked out best for me, but at the same time, I've got the experience that backs it up now, and I've become wiser as a result. I don't know. How are you, Alex? Are you somebody that takes a long time making decisions, or?
No, I'm a pretty quick guy, I think, to take decisions. Sometimes it's to my advantage, sometimes it's not. But we hear a lot, right? People that are successful entrepreneurs take decision quickly.
Yeah.
Because, they don't want to be analysis by paralysis.
Yeah.
Where you just think about, the possible outcome. You never end up doing anything.
Yeah.
So it's better to take decision, and then if it ends up not being the best one, then you can always take a different decision.
Yeah. What's funny is whenever I think about procrastination, I remember back to high school, I wasn't the best student, but I wasn't the worst student either. And when I think about procrastination, it always came down to homework and doing assignments and this kind of thing. And I was always the type of a person that would just leave things right to the last minute. Right. And I would even go to the school early in the morning or whatever, do my homework in the library. It was terrible. And I was always stressed out, just created all this environment of just this extra pressure and stress because I needed to get things done in order to even pass or whatever. And I ended up doing good always. And I passed no problem with, through high school. But there was a lot of just unnecessary and unneeded stress in that entire situation. And I went through my entire high school period doing that kind of thing. And it wasn't until basically I got into university and really just decided to grab the bull by the horns, not procrastinate, and just knocked it out of the park and just destroyed every class I was in. And it was because of procrastination. I just made the choice not to procrastinate. And, that stress that comes with procrastination is just not something that you need to put yourself through, right?
Nice.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Cool. So was our 5 tips here?
That's the 5 tips, the 6 tips with the bonus for
sure.
So, yeah. But that's it for this week's episode, guys. Comment below as always. We want to hear your thoughts and everything. Are you a procrastinator? Do you make decisions very quickly? What sort of decision maker are you? Do you like to analyze everything, or do you make decisions quickly and then move on if it's bad? We want to know. I'll read them. We'll comment, all that kind of stuff. Also subscribe to the channel. Definitely, we're going to be releasing videos like this every week. Alex and I, and we've got more exciting topics come down. Great books, by the way. Make sure you read them. They're amazing. What else you got?
Yeah, that's it. Just comment below and make sure you subscribe, guys. And
see you next week.
See you next week, guys. Bye.
Ciao.